This is going to be a group energy healing, and it's the third in the set of 3 healings called the May 2025 triplet set. And the theme that we'll be working is abundance, but also in a larger context of manifesting, like having dreams and making them reality, making them come true. So I want to talk about what we're going to do today specifically. Ooh, thank you for my validations that you can see and hear me okay. That is super helpful. All right. So we're going to do more with what we started. Oh, today's the second in the set of 3. Did I say third in the set of 3? It's the second in this set of 3. Hope I said that. Anyway, it's Sunday, May 4th, 2025 right now. And we're doing more with what we started in the first healing, which was this idea of stepping forward and holding your ground. That those are 2 key aspects of manifesting, and you have to have a certain type of strength for each one. And if you don't have one or the other, or one is way stronger than the other, it doesn't work out so well. So we were working on strengthening both those aspects, your ability to step forward and your ability to hold your ground and kind of maintain what you have once you have stepped forward. And in the first healing, I had talked about how the stepping forward was largely yang energy. And so we worked it by strengthening your GV meridian, the one that goes up the midline of the back and around the head to the roof of the mouth. That GV meridian, governing vessel meridian, manages all your yang meridians. So if you make that one happy, it helps make all your yang meridians happy over time. So we unblocked and healed that meridian, but we also did a lot of work with the whole GV Wei Qi aura, the aura that should be golden flowing and awesome, protecting and nourishing your GV meridian. So that's what we did to help the stepping forward energy. And then the holding your ground energy, yin strength, I was saying, was very key for that, to be able to maintain the ground that you just gained by stepping forward. And so to be able to maintain and nourish and, stay steady with what you just achieved. Because abundance can be destroyed fairly easily. Even in a literal sense, like with money, you can have all sorts of unpredictable bills that happen all at the worst time, and poof, poof, all sorts of, savings or whatever goes out the window, or appliances break all at the same time, or it is possible to lose abundance or to have damage done to your abundance energy, things that you already have in your life. And so we were strengthening both of them. So the CV meridian work that we did CV meridian, which is the one that manages your yin meridians. So for that holding ground, we nourish and strengthens that meridian and the entire Wei Qi aura that's dedicated to nourishing and protecting your CV meridian. Your CV meridian Wei Qi aura. We did a lot of work with that one too, and got rid of like burdens from other people, all sorts of stuff out of it, to help strengthen your yin energy. And then we also compared them as mountains. So your yang, your stepping forward strength versus your holding ground strength. And we healed them both. And because the idea is to be aware of, if you do have a big disparity between which one is stronger, you want them to be equally powerful and strong, right? And so we just work that by looking at them as mountains and healing them that way. Them meaning your step forward strength versus your hold ground strength. So that was what we did. But now what we will do, so that was a review, basically. What I just finished, that was a review, right, of the first healing, all the concepts of the first healing, which are good to know because today builds on that. So new today is other ways to strengthen your yin energy and your yang energy, your yang, your stepping forward energy, and your yin holding ground energy. There are 4 things that we're going to do, 4 main things. So we're not going to repeat what we did 2 days ago with the CVGV meridian and the CVGV, CVNGV Weiqi auras. We're going to just boldly go forward with more. So you can have inner weaknesses with, one or the other of those energies. You can have external forces, or you can have external forces that are sort of targeting those strengths of yours. And so we're going to address both of that. Some inner reasons why your stepping forward energy might be weaker, or mainly some reasons, some internal reasons why your yin energy, you're being consistent, you're maintaining, holding ground energy might be too weak. So we'll remedy some of that. Maybe 2 of the techniques are specifically for that, to strengthen your yin energy, that ability to hold your ground. And then there is the external stuff that can target your strength. And so we're going to address that. I don't want to go into too much detail about it right now because I don't want to trigger everything all at once, because then people aren't present enough for the early techniques in the healing. But anyway, we're going to address some external forces that could be messing with your strength, both types of strength. And then some ways in which you're holding back your own stepping forward energy. We're going to address that. So sorry, I'm not giving too many specifics right now, but it's good stuff, and it's different from 2 days ago, and it's again on stepping forward and holding ground stuff. As far as people's results from the first healing, overall they were good. People had nice effects. So it validated that this is important and we need to keep working it, basically. Obviously, everybody has different reactions. Some people have different reactions, and it's good to fill out your surveys. Thank you very much to everyone who did, so that I can monitor everybody's progress properly. And yeah. I guess too, I would say if you have time, like if you don't have a lot of time and you're going to want to repeat something from today, you can cherry pick. Like if your holding ground energy is weaker, then pick out one of the ones for the yin holding ground stuff. But if you have time, I would say do all 4 of the things from today, just because I guess because abundance and manifesting is so important that just in case you need, to repeat all 4, that would be nice. But use your intuition too, by within a day, it'll be chapters. And so you can use your intuition to see which would help you to repeat. So I hope that makes sense. All right. So I'm going to check chat comments before the healing, and then we'll do 3 minutes of quiet as I finish my prep right before the healing starts and as the healing starts. And then for most of the healing, I will talk out loud and say what I'm doing as I do it. So you could use it as an all levels self-healing walkthrough if you wish, and heal yourself as you listen. Oh, yeah, I do have actually. I do have a sales note about this theme, and therefore the twin set that's coming up later this month on the same theme of abundance is I just wanted to remind people that abundance is first chakra. And so as you work abundance issues, you're also helping all the first chakra issues because it's the same energy center. And so if you clear baggage around abundance, you're also inherently, even though, I mean, well, today we're explicitly going to be clearing fears, but even if we weren't and we were just explicitly clearing abundance baggage, it would still help out, clearing fears. So, because I noticed there was probably a few people, but I noticed one person in particular that they didn't think, one of their family members needed the twin set because they think, well, okay, that person doesn't have to worry about money, but that person has like a lot of nervousness and anxiety. And so I just wanted to remind people of the connection between working abundance and clearing fear and lowering anxiety, and that it's all very, very tightly related. So if you have anxiety issues or you know someone who has anxiety issues, any of my videos or healings on abundance would be good for them, and vice versa. If they have abundance issues, any of my clear fear, clear anxiety videos or themes would be good. So just so you know. All right. But now finally I will really get to chat comments. Can see and hear you. Thank you. Janet, we can see and hear you in Chicago, where I used to live for a long time. 50 degrees Fahrenheit and cloudy. Well, not great, but not terrible. It says, hey, Janet, can see and hear you. You're early today. I'm so not early today. It's an hour after the earliest possible start time. But I guess I've been later. So it says, hey, Janet, I can see and hear you from rainy Las Vegas, 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Not bad, 65. Hi, Janet. Sunny, 64 degrees Fahrenheit in San Francisco, California. Thank you for the healing. You're welcome. Very pretty emojis. That purple flower one, I haven't seen that emoji before. You must have special emojis. Someone says, woohoo, welcome back to you. So it says, hello, Janet, and everyone from Las Vegas, 64 degrees Fahrenheit and cloudy. Well, hello to you. Someone says, hi, Janet, with cute little sheep emojis. Thank you. Someone says, very interesting concepts, very different from what you did in previous abundance-related healings. That's true. Yeah, this set is definitely different than how we've worked abundance in the past. Although today, maybe 2 of the 4 things we do are maybe like cousins of what we've done in the past, but the other 2, are nothing like what we've done in the past. And the whole step forward, hold your ground is definitely not what we've done in the past. So, yep, lots of new stuff. I should probably put that in the playlist for this set for this month, the step forward, hold ground. Because it says abundance in the playlist, but you're right that's something that the other abundance themes from previous years does not have in it. I don't know if I'll have room, but I'll try to fit it in to the title of the playlist for this month. Okay, cool. So 3 minutes up yet? before I start the heal. All right, so let's get hand chakras going and shoulders and arms. So you have a big hand chakra in the palm of each hand and also a chakra in each fingertip. And they generate energy and send it outward. So if you set those energy centers, hand and fingertip chakras, to a metallic gold color, like Yoga Dog here, then that's the color they generate, which is a good vibration for self-healing and repair and unblocking and letting go. So just do that with your intention. You don't have to be able to see gold light. If you can't, you can't right now. That's not a big deal. Clairvoyance can develop over time. So just you set those chakras with your intention to be a metallic gold color, and therefore that's the vibration they're generating, the color they're sending out, and you use that to heal yourself. You can use the gold light for one hand to heal and unblock the other. Or you could use a composite copy of both your hands out in front of you. Whatever floats your boat. And also you can make a copy of your wrists and shoulders and arms. Shoulders, arms, and wrists. You can just imagine that out in front of you, whichever. You can spin around your copy. You want to check for hard objects sticking out and kind of pop those out and explode them. You could say, angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this healing process, can you please recycle them? A lot of times, like, there'll be a leak because there's a spear stuck in there, and then you pop out the spear and explode it, but then there's some invasive beings kind of hogging up the spot, so it doesn't repair fully. Then you ask your angels to recycle the invasive beings, and then you add gold light, and it fills in and repairs itself really well then. You have no more leak. So shoulders, arms, wrists, elbows. Love for the elbows. Elbows are important. Really, 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 really important. Lots of gold light. Wash out any, you can have emotional baggage from past lives stuck in your, anywhere in your body, really. But we're working shoulders and arms and wrists and elbows and stuff right now. So if you have any old anger or old frustrations in these areas, just wash them out with gold light, melt it away. You don't want to have like recurring injuries in the same place in each life, but you might if you just hold on to all the junk that's there, all the frustration or sadness or whatever you're storing in that part of your energy system. So just let it go. Wash it out. Gold light. All right, good enough. So now we'll just go through the 5 essentials really quickly. So grounding is the first one. Redo both your groundings, make them big and wide as all your auras. Make them wide all the way down to the core of the earth. Red or orange or yellow are the colors I would recommend. Make them both the same color. So both red or both orange or both yellow. And bring your groundings up as high as yours, just below your sternum bone. Your third chakra is just below your sternum bone. So bring up your grounding as high as your third chakra so that gives extra support to those lower chakras. And then you have a copy out in front of you make a copy out in front of you of both your groundings and use gold light from your hands to wash everybody out of your groundings. Check the outer surface of your groundings, melt away any attachments to other people's groundings. Gold light from your hands. You can sweep together all the energy blocks in your grounding into one spot and then use so much gold light that they all melt. Sweep together all the energy blocks, use a whole bunch of gold light so it all melts. We could do like collapsing gold nets for your whole space. So you make big gold, like a cube of gold netting that's bigger than all your auras, goes all the way down to the core of the earth, so that as the gold nettings collapse in, they catch any invasive beings or invasive people or hard objects that you're trying to get rid of and just drag it all out. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. So again, collapsing gold nets. Gather all that up. Angels, here you go. Collapsing gold nets. Angels, here you go. Good enough. So aura repair, we're going to repair all your auras at the same time. You can make a copy out in front of you of all of them. They're all around you, above you, beneath you, behind you, everywhere. You have 17 auras, astral body aura, physical body aura, and then 15 that are called Wei Qi auras. Your Wei Qi energy is strong boundaries energy. So Wei Qi auras are big gold flowy force fields. So just imagine all 17 of them in the same place and comb through them with your hands. You want to check to see if you need repair. Do you have rips in your auras? And we can repair them all at once using composite copy technique. You could, if you just find like one big spot where a whole bunch is ripped, you could just repair them locally, like send so much gold light that they start to grow back. But maybe you have a whole bunch of spots that are ripped, or you just don't trust your vision to see where or intuit where. So with this technique, you don't need any of that. Just imagine a copy of a rip and say with your intention, okay, well, this rip represents all the rips in my 17 auras. And then as you repair this composite copy rip, you're repairing all those rips. So to repair, you want to clean it out first, because you can have the hard objects in there that made the rip in the first place. You could have invasive beings because it's leaking energy and that attracts invasive beings, or invasive people. So to get rid of all that junk first, you use sticky gold wax, gold light from your hands that sticks to everything that's not you and forms a big lump, right? And so then you get rid of all the junk. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, have it stick together, lift it all out at once. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, get rid of all the junk at once. Angels, here you go. So then just use gold light, get it as deep as you can so that the rips start to repair back. You could say too, angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair process, can you please recycle them? Maybe you missed some hard objects, grab those out. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. Deep breaths. Okay, so that probably repaired most of your rips, but you could have 1 or 2 left over or a few left over. So we'll do it again just for the leftover rips. So make an image of a composite copy rip and just say, okay, well, this represents any leftover rips that I might still have. And so then do the same thing. Sticky gold wax, get rid of the junk. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, get rid of all that junk. Angels, here you go. Angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair, can you please recycle them? Okay. And you can redo your gold buffer zones, which are big gold buffers, flowy gold light that you can make for your astral body aura and your physical body aura. Just attach them to the outer surface. I do have a video on that if you want to learn more. Janet Wright gold buffer zones is what you would search to find it on YouTube. So just check the outer surface of all these 17 auras now. Maybe just a couple hard objects that you missed. So you could use sticky gold wax to attach to the hard objects and lift them all out at once. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax. Lift all that junk out. Give it to your angels. And then just use extra gold light. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair, can you recycle them? You can comb through all your auras, melt hard objects that might be in your auras with gold light. All right, good enough. Your gold mesh spheres within the Wei Qi auras, those are what makes the gold light for those flowy gold Wei Qi auras. So the gold mesh spheres, they wrap all around you, and there are 3 for each Wei Qi aura. So an inner one, middle one, and an outermost one. And you can prepare those, the gold mesh spheres, so they can do their job and generate lots of gold light. And you may have, I call them scar valleys. It's like hardness, where the gold mesh spheres have been destroyed, by someone throwing an especially forceful whack. And so then they're kind of like pushed to a side, and that there's this hardness, like a valley of hardness where the rip was, but then you've repaired the rip, but there's still that scar valley of hardness, preventing the gold mesh spheres from growing back. So you can just imagine any any scar valleys in your Wei Qi auras. Just imagine them all in the same place and melt all your scar valleys at one time. And you can imagine also any aura hardness that you have. It can be energy blocks too, but specifically I'm talking about like leftover hardness from having had wax thrown at you. So it could be scars at the outer surface or, layers of bruising within your auras. But just make copies of any aura hardness that you have, including scar valleys, and just melt it with gold light. You can say too, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this aura hardness, can you please recycle them? And then melt people out of all this aura hardness in case they are courting. And then just blow it all up or just keep melting it with gold light fully. Couple deep breaths. All right, good enough. Good job, good job. Let's do some confetti to celebrate that one. Woohoo! Alrighty. Okay, so this is one of the 4 things that I said we were going to do today to help your stepping forward energy and your holding ground energy, which is key for manifesting and abundance. So I'm going to stick it in here in the middle of the 5 essentials just because I feel like it'll help if I do it that way. So everybody has invasive beings. I mean, it's not good to have them. And, if you meditate and do this kind of work, then you have less and less and less of them. But I don't think it's anything to really freak out about. I mean, you've been doing pretty well already. And so you can just do better you can just have an easier life, by being aware and clearing them out regularly. Basically, you just ask your angels to recycle invasive beings that are messing with you. But like, it's not like you just say it once and then you never have an issue again. You would basically keep requesting it. I mean, like, not obsessively, but it's not a one and done kind of thing, unfortunately. Not a lot in energy healing. Energy healing is a one and done thing. But anyway, so in a family, though, there can be extra invasive beings that mess with multiple family members at once and kind of enjoy that, like messing with a group of people at once. And so family control beings is just my term for invasive beings that are targeting a certain family, a group of people. And it's within this lifetime. And it's like, maybe they're from your dad's side of the family, these invasive beings, and, so it came to you that way, or maybe through your mother's side of the family. But it doesn't mean that these invasive beings have to ruin your life or anything, but it's good to clear them out. You can ask the angels to recycle as many as possible. And so they won't recycle all of them, probably, because there are other family members that you have that are still like not open to that level of liberation subconsciously. And so they're kind of hanging on to maybe the victimization of it or whatever, And so, but you are a member of that family. And so as a member of that family, you have some clout as to getting some of these invasive beings recycled, which is great. You know, it's super cool. Makes your life easier. So I was looking at how that is one reason, the one way that stepping forward and holding ground energy both can be sort of chopped off or smushed. Which in extreme cases, it looks like it just gets chopped off. Like someone tries to create something and it's just chopped like off, and it doesn't exist. It's like completely destroyed. You know, in a less extreme case, when the person has more inner strength in their stepping forward and holding ground space, then that energy, the sort of abundance crushing energy, it can't just do a full like guillotine chop, you know, and destroy something, but it kind of smushes it. So you might feel like shoulder pain or something, you know, from these forces, but it doesn't crush you. It just makes things uncomfortable and slows you down in your manifesting. So let's get rid of as many of these invasive beings as the angels will go for, you know, will get rid of. And that's fine. You're not going to get backlash for that because your angels check with the other family members, and sometimes too much more. I mean, it's nice to do this over time too, because even just you getting healings and working your own energy through self-healing can inspire your family members. I mean, generally not as fast as everyone wants that to happen, but it can happen. And then so maybe a year from now, you ask again the angels to get rid of family control beings that are smooshing your abundance. It could be that then when your angels check with the other people in the family, that they're much more on board with the idea. And so way more gets cleared, you know, way more family control beings get recycled. So long story short, it's good to do, and it's cool to do over time as well, like multiple times. But so let's do it. We'll do abundance crushing family control beings. We'll have them recycled. And just any family control beings. I mean, there can be family control beings that specialize in, you know, reinforcing emotional imbalances or addictions, or, you know, verbal abuse or different types of abuse, you know. So we can get rid of as many as the angels will allow. Which again is not that the angels want you to suffer necessarily. I mean, although maybe something for your learning has to happen still, but it could be just that your other family members aren't ready to, you know, have things get lighter and brighter. So that'll limit how much can get recycled, but it's definitely worth a try, especially in this context of abundance. It's, you know, it could be that your family members are like, oh yeah, they crushed abundance. No, let's get rid of them. No, let's do it. It's easy. The angels do all the work. You just sit around and breathe. Stay here. All right, so let's do it. Okay, so basically you can imagine, I would say it could be interesting to see, like, or intuit which side of the family most of them come from, or if it's pretty equal. So you could imagine, you know, like just stay here, you know, maybe wiggle your butt or your toes or something so you're not being too serious. Yeah. But imagine, like, you know, an image representing your mom and her whole side of the family. So her parents, parents, all that, you know, from this life, your mom's side of the family, right? And then your dad's side of the family. And so if you are like a sperm donor baby, like, or I mean, if your dad was like absentee, I would say it still counts. So go ahead and imagine your biological dad's side of the family, even if he wasn't around. If you have other caretakers that like a stepdad or something, you could imagine him and his family tree in this life too. But anyway, so parent figures, imagine them separately, and then just see, you know, you can imagine the abundance crushing family control beings from any of these people. Just imagine them as like, you know, little billowy clouds or something, you know, something that's not going to scare you or freak you out. So, you know, if clouds freak you out, then maybe, I don't know, black boxes or something, or if that freaks you out, then, you know, imagine them like rocks, you know, whatever, right? So you imagine the different parent figures and the family control beings that smush abundance, and you say, angels, can you please recycle as many of them as you can? As many of these abundance crushing family beings as you can. And then you just stay here and breathe and be thankful that everyone has angels and they can do stuff like this. So you can have your healthy beverage and you can watch the fireworks, you know, see if the clouds are noticeably reducing on any of the that you're imagining, any of the sides of the family that you're imagining. Okay, good job. So then we can imagine just the same thing, you know, the different sides of the family, your parent figures and their genetic families in this lives. And then just imagine, you know, the invasive beings. And again, you're not healing all these people right now. You are just being you, right? Because that would be a group healing, which is significantly higher up in the risk level, you know, to do a group healing. So I would not recommend that unless you happen to be a pro healer that does group healing already. But either way, I don't think I would recommend it because that's not the point of what we're doing right now. So imagine, you know, the people and the different sides of the family, the invasive beings as like clouds above them, and then just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are messing with me or might mess with me from these people? So not just abundance crushers, but any family control beings that your angels are willing to recycle, then sounds great. All right. Good job. Wasn't that easy? So let's go back to some 5 essentials work. I just figured that it would be easier to work creative rings once we got those beings recycled first. So, and Matt, your creative rings are up here. They come and go with you as a spirit. They're part of your astral body energy system. 1, 2, 3, 3 gold rings. They generate lots of gold light if they are working properly and not beat up. And the gold light forms a nice protective force field right here, and it gets sent downward to nourish all your major chakras along your spine. So make a copy out in front of you of your 3 gold creative rings and heal them with gold light. You can also make a copy beneath that of your 7th chakras, which are in the top of your head. So you have 2 of them, one for your astral body, one for your physical body. They're oriented this way, and purple would be a nice color for them. So if you need to see, this is purple. It's kind of a purpley blue, but anyway, imagine purple, your favorite shade of purple, whatever. And purple is an ideal color for your 7th chakras, so you can set them to your favorite shade of purple, these 7th chakras, and then your gold creative rings just melt away cords going into them from other people. If you still have invasive beings messing with your creative rings, you can say, angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings messing with my creative rings or my 7th chakras? Your 7th chakras send energy upward to your 7th layer and downward, and then it gets pulled back up through your body into your 7th chakra again. Then it goes up out like a nice purple fountain through your 7th layer. So you want to unblock your creative rings so that it's an easy route. Your 7th chakra doesn't have a hard time sending energy upward. Right? So unblock your creative rings. And your creative rings have flaps. And you want them to be relaxed and shut. So it's a nice smooth gold ring, all 3 of them, right? But if they're stuck open, that's what it would look like. And that could happen if you have cords, pairs of cords coming in from invasive people or invasive beings. We don't want that. So if you melt away the cords, that can help those flaps to relax and fall shut. So then it's a nice smooth round opening. So just keep melting junk away until they all fall shut. You might have some devices. Devices a lot of times, and invasive being energy too, a lot of times is white or silver or black. So if you're not seeing really great right now, then you could just intuitively check if you have any devices that are white. Yes, no. Do you have any devices that are silver? Yes, no. Do you have any devices that are black? Yes, no. And just remove them. Give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. Oh, you can unblock above your creative rings too, because sometimes if you have big energy blocks above there, it makes it easy for invasive beings or people to hook into the block and then send energy, shoot energy down your creative rings. So just unblock above your creative rings in your auras. You can bring up purple earth energy from the core of the earth into your 7th chakras and your creative rings. So the purple earth energy comes straight from the earth just for your 7th chakras and your creative ring. Because otherwise purple is too fast moving a vibration for your 1st chakra and all the lower chakras. So, but you know, if your intention is it just gets absorbed by the 7th chakras and the creative rings, that's fine. And if you have any invasive beings that kind of moved out from this area while you're working this area, you want to get those recycled too. You know, if they're clever enough not to stay in the way, they don't get recycled at the moment, but they're moving out and waiting. Just angels, can you recycle all these invasive beings that are waiting to come back in? All right, good job, good job. So the 4th of the 5 essentials is chakra repair. So we have grounding, aura repair, creative ring repair, chakra repair. And then good karma window stuff we'll do after that. Okay, so chakra repair, we're going to repair and unblock all your chakras at the same time. So this is the basic chakra shape, an open cylinder. So you just make an image of a chakra and you say with your intention, okay, well, this represents all of my chakras, all my major chakras, all my minor chakras of my body and spirit. So every single one. And then you repair and unblock them all at once. Gold light. So you can scoop through and gather out the energy blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of right now. And just melt them with lots of gold light. Scoop out the energy blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of. Melt them away with gold light. Scoop them out. You can blow them up too if you want. If you're healing yourself, you can blow them up. Your chakras also have flaps, just like creative rings, around the round openings. So it would look the same way, except not gold. If they're stuck open. You don't want them stuck open though. So just keep melting cords from other people and from invasive beings so that the flaps fall shut. You could say, if there are any invasive beings trying to cord my chakras, can you please recycle them, angels? Sometimes, resistance is like you're chasing your own tail, like if you're a dog chasing its tail, your resistance is like you're spinning your wheels, you're wasting your energy, you're kind of looping and maybe a little manic on a subconscious level. And so you can have energy blocks in your chakras causing you to be that way, and that kind of irritates the chakra and keeps the flaps open. So if there's any energy blocks that you're kind of fighting against so much, you're resisting them so much that it's basically irritating your chakras, just melt those energy blocks. So you can just call them resistance blocks for short, rather than that big long 5-minute explanation. There can be blocks in your chakras that you're trying to avoid, and it can cause you to do lots of weird, unhealthy avoidant behaviors. So just lift out any energy blocks from your chakras that you're really trying to avoid, because obviously you can't avoid them if they're in your chakras. So just melt them away. That's the only good way to avoid them is by making them no longer exist. Just clear them, right? So your chakras, imagine any energy blocks within them that you're trying super hard to avoid, and lift those out and melt them away with gold light. Lift those out. You can say, angels, can you check all these, make sure they're okay to clear right now? And so your angels edit, and then any leftover, just use gold light so much that they just melt away or blow them up. So any energy blocks in your chakras that you're trying really hard not to feel, just melt them instead. All right. Abundance, a lot of times it's first chakra stuff, but it's not always. I mean, everything's so interrelated. You can have self-esteem related abundance issues, or confidence related abundance issues, or communications related abundance issues, blah, 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 all sorts of things. Emotional baggage, blocking your abundance. So right now that we're working all chakras at once, it is kind of nice. So we could lift out any abundance blocking baggage that you have in any abundance blocking baggage that you have in any of your chakras. Just lift it out. And the angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? So then they'll edit if needed. And then just anything that's left over, just use so much cold light that it melts away. So lift out any abundance blocking baggage from your chakras. Angels, can you double check? And then just melt it all or blow it up. All right, good job. That was chakra repair and unblocking. Oh, I didn't change my label. Sorry about that. Okay, so that was actually chakra repair, I promise. So nice to be able to share all my typos with everybody. We get to experience them all together. All right. So base of skull points, there they are. Acupuncture points. So 2 horizontal lines, one at the level of the top of the earlobe, one at the level of the bottom of the earlobe. Those are all the base of skull points. That's just my little way of talking about them. I don't think that's an official grouping in traditional Chinese medicine. Although if there are any acupuncturists listening, you can correct me. Feel free. But anyway, so just these are all chakras, all these dots on the diagram, right? And so this is the chakra shape, even for these guys. And so they're like seated within the meridian, and their job is to keep the energy flowing within the meridian, but they also generate energy if they're in good shape. So you want to, and plus the meridian itself, you can repair that, and you want it to be red and flowy. And if you feel like there's so much pressure on them, then comb through them and outward into the auras. So like, you can imagine like this and just comb through and outward and sort of drag out the energy blocks. Whoops. Drag out the energy blocks that are within those meridians and in the auras behind them. Just drag them all so you get a big lump of energy blocks and say, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this junk, can you please recycle them? And then melt away words from other people going into all these blocks, and then melt the blocks. I wanted to especially do GV 15 to 20. But then especially GV 15 to 17 are my favorite. Even though GV 20 is cool, but of lately, GV 15 to 20 is my favorite. 15 to 17 is my favorite. So GV in this diagram is that gray line going up the midline of the back and then hooks around and ends in the roof of the mouth, right? It starts in the crotch in the back, goes up and around, right? 15 to 20, that's from the base of skull. Those base of skull points are 15, 16. 15, 16 are the two that are really close to each other. And then there's 17, and then 18, 19, and 20 is at the top. 20 is very cool, partially because it's in the very same spot as the 7th chakra. And I don't know, it's just super important in work. But 15, 16, and 17, so those are the GV meridian points that are in that base of skull area. We can work those extra. And so if we work like those 3 points, that section of the GV meridian, and then that section of the GV meridian aura, which goes all around you, but just the part directly behind those points. Because you can have like really wild, like hard blocks and like even hard devices from past lives right there. And it's good to get rid of all that shit. Any hardness is bad news. So just melt it all away with lots of gold light. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this junk, can you please recycle them? And just keep melting the junk away. You want this, GV 15, 16, 17 to be red and flowy, but it's really easy for it to look like all hard and blackened and crusty. So, and then comb outward into that part of the GV meridian aura right behind it, and just find some hard objects or devices. Just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And then melt everybody out of there and just melt all that junk. A couple deep breaths, maybe wiggle your butt. Alrighty. Oh, the Mowhawk area. Years ago, I used to talk about the Mowhawk area. And so it's basically this GV part from base of skull all the way up, to maybe the forehead, the Mohawk area. Like if you had a Mohawk haircut, And so just comb through your GV meridian Mohawk area and the GV meridian Wei Chi aura Mohawk area, and just like gather up all the hard blocks and just say, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this junk, can you recycle them? And then so you have this big mass of hard blocks, and just melt away all the cords from people. Melt everybody's energy out. Melt your own resistance out too. Because once you melt all that out, it probably will just melt by itself. Or you could blow it up just for kicks too. That's good. But it's nice if you get the beings out first and then the people out and then blow it up. But otherwise, if you blow people up that are in the blocks, they kind of get this like blast of their energy back that might sort of be unsettling for them, and they may whack you. If you wash them out first, they get their energy back in like a more gentle, gradual way. And so then they don't necessarily smack you for it. It's, that's probably helpful. So anyway, so comb through your Mohawk area of your GV meridian, comb outward into the GV meridian Wei Chi aura, get all that hardness. Angels, recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk. Melt the people out. If you want, you can do some physical massage of your base of skull points. Couple deep breaths. All right, so then let's do the good karma windows. So I'll put this back to the way it was. Woohoo! So now we're gonna do the good karma windows. So basic shape of each good karma window is like this, a triple frame window. And so that is, a rough drawing, very rough, of the first layer one. So there are triple frame windows, one in each of the back of your astral body aura. So your astral body aura has 7 layers to it. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 good karma windows. Each one's a different color. It's the color of your energy in that aura layer. So just imagine them, kind of like this, and just comb through them all. You can bring up, if you're going to soak them all in one earth energy color, I would say red is a safe bet. So soak them all in red earth energy if you want. Straight up from the core of the earth. And gold light. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this area, can you please recycle them? You can have really subtle cracks in the good karma windows. So like, maybe like, there'll be a cracked area like right there, and then right there, through all of them, or maybe all the way across, like cracks. And so in those cracked areas, it's easier for invasive beings to kind of link on and then get through the window. So that's why we're doing repair. So just get the beings out of the way, do the repair. And you can repair all your windows at once, really. You could make a composite copy of all your good karma windows, all 7 of them, make one copy that looks like one window, but it represents, with your intention, you say, okay, well, this represents all my good karma windows. And then just go ahead and use lots of gold fire and, burn out all the invasive energy and repair all the damage, melt all the cords. And then any invasive beings that are still in there, say, angels, can you recycle them? Any invasive beings that have moved out, but they're kind of waiting to come back in later, just say, angels, can you recycle those beings as well? All right, good job. So that was good karma window work. Well, first we did really GV work, 15 to 17, and then 15 to 20, and then Mowhawk area. Mowhawk area. And then we did good karma windows work. And the good karma work we did was a little bit unique in that we did a composite copy for all the windows. I kind of like that. That was cool. Okay. Good job. All right, this one sounds funny. Okay, so we're going to clear out fake pregnancies. And I don't mean in like a strict biological sense. I mean in like a spiritual sense that uses up your yin energy, your nurturing energy. So it will help your yin energy and it will help the holding ground part that I was explaining before the healing. So yeah, it will help you with yin, strengthen your yin energy, help you with holding your ground after you've stepped forward to be able to maintain what you have and stay well and enjoy the progress you've just made so that also it's easier to move forward again, right? So clearing fake pregnancies, what the heck do I mean? So, let's say with AccuDoll. Okay, so she has a bunch of fake pregnancies and she it's such a weird term. So, let's say she has and different fake pregnancies can trigger at different times. So what the heck is that? Okay, well, it can look like a big lump that you have, like you have a pregnancy belly. But it's just maybe somebody's problem that you took on that you're kind of nursing as if it's your, a fetal baby within you, and obviously subconscious, but that's what I'm calling fake pregnancies. So the more that you can imagine what are your fake pregnancies and clear them, then your yin energy doesn't get so tied up and wasted. And you can actually use it for yourself to hold your ground and use it as a strength rather than, this way it kind of just, it fizzles out. You're wasting it. So I'll read some examples. Maybe that'll help it make some more sense. So, okay, if I look at a guy, right? Because, you'd think, okay, well, this only applies to women, pregnancy, right? But I don't mean it I mean, since I'm not talking a strict biological pregnancy, then yeah, it could be for a guy too, because all spirits have yin and yang energy, right? So, so I'm looking at this guy and I heal him because his wife pays for the healings. Although I think he knows about them consciously. But anyway, he gets the healings and he has a lot of yang energy that gets tied up in these fake pregnancies. And one of them is like somebody at his workplace. He has some conflicts with them, and he's like, part of him is always sort of occupied trying to figure out, why this person is out to get him, and why this person doesn't like him, and why this person is overly critical with him specifically. So for him, that's ending up being a fake pregnancy. It's like, it's just this bunch of energy blocks where he's stuck about why that person is stuck about him. So that's one of his fake pregnancies that's using up a lot of his yin energy that he could use to just hold his ground and nurture himself and be steady and steadfast with his own, self-care and strengthening, right? Another fake pregnancy that, let's see, somebody else has is her in-laws don't like her. And she's like, she just gets kind of sad about it subconsciously. Like, because she knows some people have like supportive extended families, and she's like, well, is it me? Like, what? Why? Why can't they just be more supportive? Why can't they be more encouraging? Why are they always on my back? So that's one of her fake pregnancies. It's like, it's a bunch of sadness and just like she's trying to solve the problem. And it also has some of their dumped energy that's part of the fake pregnancy of like their criticisms. She's sort of holding on to them and trying to solve the problem, right? Somebody else's fake pregnancy is a whole bunch of fear that they have. And so it's they're just like really fixated on these fears that they have, and it greatly alters their view of the world and people in it. And it's a fake pregnancy because it's so triggered, and it's so much of their life force goes into it that it's like a fake. That's what it looks like. It's like a fake pregnancy. There's just so much yin energy is getting wasted on that could be comforting her and nurturing her and helping her to hold her ground, with her manifestations. But instead it just spirals on these fears and, seeing the whole world in this drastically different way because of her fears. So I hope that makes sense. These are just different examples of fake pregnancies that you might have. And you don't even have to know what the fake pregnancies are. Sometimes it's just, you're worried about, okay, you have a good friend and she has health problems. And so you have like some of her pain from her health problems and some of your concern from her. And it looks like a fake baby and, fake pregnancy. And you're just kind of sending so much energy into these energy blocks that you have about it, so it's really draining your yin energy, obsessing on this stuff subconsciously. Sometimes it's conscious, like, oh, I totally obsess on that. That must be one of my fake pregnancies. So anyway, long story short, let's clear the fake pregnancies. Oh. So let's do it. So, so go ahead and just imagine, you can imagine them straight out in front of you if you want, like, little, fake bellies, that you have, or just imagine like a model of yourself out in front of you if that's easier, and like just, like bowling ball size or bigger, but like how many fake pregnancies for you do you have right now? And then just, use red earth energy, soak your fake pregnancy bellies in red earth energy. The angels of thorny invasive beings hooked into this junk, can you please recycle them? And then just melt your energy out, melt everyone else's energy out, melt everybody's cords out of your fake pregnancy bellies. And you can start to melt them away. You could blow up your fake pregnancy bellies if you want. Or just fully melt them with gold light. And if they're not really not melting, you just give them to your angels. Wrap up your fake pregnancy bellies in gold light and give them to your angels. Say, angels, could you help me with these? And you can have fake pregnancies that trigger at different times, so like maybe before a work meeting, there are extra fake pregnancy bellies that trigger right then. Or maybe, if you got sick, maybe there are certain fake pregnancy bellies that are particularly prominent at that time, hogging up your yin energy. Um, so I don't know, maybe just imagine the fake pregnancy bellies that would help you the most to clear, in your real life. So you're going to be able to notice the benefit, right? So the fake pregnancy bellies that are the most in the way. And then just use gold light, and you can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this junk, can you recycle them? Yeah, melt away cords going into your fake pregnancy bellies. And melt your fake pregnancy bellies, which is basically just a bunch of, your baggage, other people's dumped energy, blah, blah, blah. Maybe some devices from people, whatever. Don't worry about it. Just melt it all away or blow it up. And if it's not going away, just wrap it up in gold light and give your fake pregnancy bellies to your angels. Angels, can you help me with these? Ah. And then you could put your hands directly on your stomach. Send gold light there. Take some deep breaths. See if you feel any different. Breathe into your hips. Breathe into your chakras along your spine. Breathe into your shoulders, your legs, your toes, your fingers. All right, good job, good job, good job. Let's do some butterflies to celebrate. Yay. Great job. Oh. Mm. Okay, I can't quite fit it all in here, but mm, So this will help the yin again, just like the clearing the fake pregnancies of the yin. This can help yin, like your strength for holding your ground. We actually went into a little bit of this in the discussion at the end of the healing 2 days ago. I had said that someone had said that they had an issue with staying up too late, and they thought it was an inner child issue, and they have been working on it, and they wanted some feedback on of how they were doing with that. And I told about myself and how sometimes I have a bedtime issue. I've gotten better on it in some ways, but then there's still this very glaring issue where I can, if I start watching K-dramas like after dinner late at night, it's like 19 times out of 20, it turns into like a 3-hour thing at least. Like it's like I watch way late into the night, even if I need my sleep, which of course I would, but so, and I was saying, well, for me, it's not, and for that person too, it's like, yeah, at first, maybe it is an inner child thing of like, well, I want to go to bed when I want to go to bed. And maybe you couldn't, you had no control over your bedtime when you were growing up. And so now you're like, yes, I can stay up all night if I want. So maybe your inner child's kind of stuck on that excitement about that. But for me, I was like, well, it's more than that, though. It's that I feel like sometimes doing the right thing is boring. Like doing something that will keep you in harmony and balance can feel boring, which is ridiculous, of course. That's really a problem. So I thought, well, the angels were like nudging, like, okay, let's make this a part of this set, because that's a big part of manifesting, is to be able to be determined and consistent and, keep taking healthy, positive actions over and over and over again. It's like with meditation or self-healing, to get the best results, you should be consistent, so the best results with your sleep, the best results with your exercise, the best results with your meditation, with your eating, with your hydration, everything, right? If you're not bored by doing the right thing over and over and over again, it's very much in your favor, right? It's if you can have that be sexy for you, have that be appealing to you, crave doing the right thing for yourself every day. if you can get rid of any sort of distaste that you have for making wise choices, then it's really a good thing. But you may have some resistance to that. It may be a part of you that's like, that's boring. Who wants to go to bed on time? Boo-hoo, that's stupid. What a lame way to end the day. Let's binge instead. That's fun and exciting. So yeah, that could be some invasive beings in your space. Maybe in my case, it's not, so there could be, but there can be other people's energy in your space, and then that's your reaction. Like when their energy's in your space, then all of a sudden you feel like doing the right thing is boring or doing the right thing is unappealing. Like somebody mentioned in their survey, they'd been thinking about how pointless meditation is until they realized, yeah, that's probably like their sister and their mom, and then they meditated and got them out, and then all of a sudden they didn't think meditation was useless anymore. So it's like a lot of times if you have people in your space, it affects your thoughts. So that's actually probably a big reason why people have resistance to balance and consistent and healthy action and, self-nurturing and holding your ground, is just that they have people in their space. But I think if we get rid of that underlying baggage that causes people to resist doing the right thing over and over, that could be really powerful. So let's do it. Let's hope that makes sense. Right. So, just pile out in front of you any baggage that you have in your space that on any level makes you shy away from doing the right thing, the healthy thing for yourself, keeping in balance with your sleep and your diet and your exercise and your, mindful choices and your meditation and, all sorts of decisions that you make, what's your resistance to making the healthy choice over and over every day? And just put all that resistance out in front of you. It could be dumped energy from other people. It could be your own trauma baggage, whatever, right? And so don't worry about what it is. Just dump it all out in front. The angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And just take a deep breath while your angels edit your piles for you. And then one more angel request. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into all this junk? Okay, and then now you could wash everybody out of it. Like there may be cords from people going into all this junk. So melt the cords, melt everybody out using gold light from your hands. Melt yourself out of this junk. And at that point, it could just melt fully all by itself, or you might have to blow it up if you want. If some of it's really not going away, you could just wrap it up in gold light, give it to your angels, say, angels, can you help me with this? All right, so let's do that one more time. So put out in front of you any baggage that you have on any level from any lifetime that's still in your space that causes you to shy away from or be reluctant to doing something that's going to make you stronger and healthier and happier. Okay. And so put all that resistance to consistent, healthy behaviors, self-nurturing, all your resistance to self-nurturing, all your reluctance to make wise decisions for yourself. And say, angels, can you double check all this? Is this all healthy and gentle to clear right now? Take some deep breaths while your angels edit. And also ask your angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Deep breath. Stay here. And then just melt cords from other people going into this baggage. Melt yourself out, melt everybody else out. Use so much gold light that it all melts away. Or you could blow it up. You're healing yourself. And if any of it is still around, it's not clearing, just wrap it up in gold light, hand it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? And we're going to loop back. And once again, clear fake pregnancies. Like I said, they can trigger at certain times and not at other times. So you might not be aware of them sometimes. But now, since we were doing all that work, clearing resistance to, to doing the healthy thing for yourself over and over, let's just double check. Maybe there are some extra fake pregnancies that you're ready to clear. So you can imagine directly out in front of you as if it's like a pregnancy belly, or you can just, imagine them out in front of you, like put them in gold boxes or something. But it's just issues that you're stuck on, your yin energy is stuck on. Fake pregnancies. And just use lots of gold light. And you can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And melt it all away, melt everybody out of them. You can blow them up or melt them fully. And if any of these fake pregnancies are left over, just wrap them in gold light, hand them to your angels. Angels, can you help me with these? All right, good job. Okay. So we're going to clear fears, specifically fears blocking your abundance, your manifesting, your yang, your stepping forward energy. And like I alluded to, I think when we were doing chakra repair and unblocking, these can be from all sorts of different chakras. You know, technically, most fears are in the first chakra or first layer. However, they can be connected to baggage in other chakras and other layers as well. Like, for example, I'm looking at one guy that I'm healing, and he has this sense of like, well, what if I step forward? Like, what will people think of me? Like, will they think I'm a jerk? Will they think I'm arrogant? Will they think I'm, will I not be as accepted by the people that I care about as if I just stay where I'm at? So, there can be a lot of social insecurities, socially related insecurities that are related to stepping forward. Basically, if you wanted to be conscious, you don't have to be conscious of any of it in order to clear it. However, if you wanted to think about like a little thought exercise, you could just imagine, okay, well, what if I really did step forward? What if I, made a big change in my abundance? Do I have any concerns about that? And just take a deep breath and think of what your concerns might be, subconsciously or consciously. Okay. And so now we're just going to clear all that junk. You don't really have to know what it is, but it's kind of interesting to have conscious awareness. But anyway, just put all the baggage, the fear baggage out in front of you. And it can be far out in front of you with a nice gold fence in between you and the baggage if you don't want to feel it. But put all your fear baggage out in front of you, any fears, any concerns that you have about stepping forward and having more abundance. Like, oh, what would that happen? What would happen? If that, or maybe someone's in your space and it's their fears about abundance, but whatever, any fear baggage about abundance that's in your space, put it out in front of you and say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? That way they'll remove stuff that's too much for today. And then angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Deep breath, stay here while your angels do the hard stuff for you. All right, then lots of gold light, melt quartz going into all this fear baggage, all this abundance baggage. And melt the baggage. You can blow it up too. You can put more bunches of it out and just keep melting it. Fear baggage blocking your abundance. Fear baggage blocking your abundance. All right, good job. Okay, so we'll do some flower healing. First, just general for abundance, whatever you need. You don't have to specifically know what you need. Just make energy healing flowers out of universal healing energy. Make them, gold and/or rainbow colors. Whatever you need, just intuitively make them. And say, angels, can you check my flowers? These are for my abundance. Can you make sure that they're, helpful for my abundance as much as possible? And then give them to yourself. And do it again. As many abundance flowers as you could possibly need or want. Tune just to the vibration that you need so that it heals you and nourishes you, helps you with your abundance. Say, angels, can you check my flowers so that they help me with abundance? And then give them to yourself. And then we can do special flower healing for each of those two things, the stepping forward and the holding your ground. So make energy healing flowers, especially to heal your strength and to build your strength for stepping forward. And then just tune them with your hands, your intuition. So they're just right to help you to have your stepping forward yang strength. And say, angels, can you check these flowers? And give them to yourself. We'll do that again. Stepping forward flowers for yourself. Tune them so that they're just right for you. Angels, can you check my flowers? Give them to yourself. Okay, then we'll do the yin aspect of like holding your ground, like maintaining what you have through your wise choices and decisions and actions, your consistency, right? So make a whole bunch of energy healing flowers to help you to hold ground in your manifesting, and tune them with your energy from your hands and your intuition so they're just right for you. The angels, can you check my flowers? Give them to yourself. Okay, one more time. Holding ground, healing flowers for yourself. Angels, can you check my flowers? Give them to yourself. All right, good job. You're a rock star. We are almost done with the healing. I just want to look and see if there's anything left that we need to do. Okay, thank you for waiting. So, you can, everyone knows the word curse, right? And curse is the, this big triggering word, so I don't like using it. Of course, I just did. But, I figure you're pretty grounded at this point in the healing, hopefully. But anyway, so I prefer to use the word manipulations. So manipulations include curses from people. They're just pieces of energy that someone placed in your space, and it has an effect on you. Sometimes I call them devices. Same difference. Devices doesn't sound as spooky. Pieces of energy doesn't sound as spooky. Hard objects. Sometimes I call them that. That doesn't sound so spooky at all, right? So, but you can have junk from other people in your space that's affecting your abundance. And I was looking at a sample person, and for her, it's her ex-mother-in-law. It's like the mother of her ex-husband was never nice to her when they were married, when she was married to her husband. And was pretty like mean and, whatever, cold-hearted when she was married to her husband. But and when she was married to her husband, the mother-in-law was kind of paranoid that like she was harming her son's abundance and all this, and so she put little devices in this woman's space to kind of control her daughter-in-law's abundance, my client's abundance, right? But now they're divorced, the devices are still there. So I was looking at, okay, how on earth does her former mother-in-law suppress her abundance? But it's like she has these little energy bracelets and energy earrings that are from that mother-in-law. And so I guess that mother-in-law was clever enough to disguise them as something pleasant, like a gift, except it's a manipulation. It's a curse, whatever. It's a device to mess with her vibe and mess with her abundance. So did that mother-in-law do it consciously? No, I don't think so. Although she's clever enough with it that I wouldn't be surprised if she had a past life, at least one, where she did do that kind of stuff consciously, because that's a pretty clever / diabolical way to do it, is to disguise it as something, a pleasant gift, so the person's more likely to keep it. So totally do not recommend any of that stuff. All this stuff is super dark. You would super mess your karma up. You'd super attract dark beings to you that like totally screw you for many lifetimes. So I definitely encourage people to remove this stuff and don't play these games with anybody for any reason. Okay? You can do what you want. You have free will. However, just letting you know, this is not wise. So, in my opinion. So anyway, let's remove this junk. It's easy to remove. It's just if you're not thinking about it, you're not mindful enough to do it, then it's still there from whoever put it there in the first place. So let's do it. So first we'll ground a little bit extra, because my explanation was probably a little trippy. So just, redo both your groundings, make them nice and wide. Bring them all the way down to the core of the earth, make them wide all the way down, make them both red or orange or yellow, same color. Bring them high up, as high as your third chakra, which is below your sternum. Just make it that high up. All your grounding. Then make a copy out in front of you of both your groundings and comb through them, and then comb through all your auras and any chunks. Melt away any chunks of triggered energy that may be triggered because of what I said or because of something going on today. Melt all your triggered energy. Comb through the front of your space where the triggered energy generally would be. Melt it all away. All right, so now we can get to work. We did our grounding a little bit. So just imagine all of you, like a copy out in front of you. All your auras, your physical body and your astral body are inside there. Your cool little legs, both your groundings, right? And just imagine any of these abundance harming devices or curses or chunks of energy or, hard objects, whatever you want to call them, right? and just surround them in gold light. And you could melt connections to people that might be in them first before you move them out. So if there's a cord, like say one of your parents is cording some of them, or the person that put them in there is cording them, you don't have to worry about it, but just you're imagining the hard objects, right? And then you melt the cords so that nobody's connected to them anymore. Melt everybody's energy out of them. And then you can have the angels too. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Right? So now it's just junk, like nobody's corded to it. And now you can just move it all out, and you could melt it all away with gold light, or you could blow it up. And if any of it didn't destroy, you can wrap it in gold light, give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? So comb through everything again, including your grounding, making sure your grounding is still flowing and wide. Melt away any triggered energy blocks in the front of your auras. All right, so we'll do the process again. It's easy. Just be aware of, any abundance harming devices or curses or hard objects, whatever you want to call them, anywhere in your space, in your astral body, physical body, groundings, wherever. And just imagine all those hard objects and wash everybody out of them, melt the cords going into them. Right? Wash everybody out of them. Say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Deep breath while your angels do that. And then now you can they're just hard objects now. Nobody's in them, no beings are in them. So just move out the hard objects, and you can use so much gold light that they all just turn to dust and completely destroy. Or you can blow them up if that's more fun for you. All right. So comb through again. All right, good job. So then now let's do a nice little tricolor earth energy soak just to center after what we just did. And this is its own 5-minute video. Some people use it as like their kids' first meditation video. This tricolor earth energy soak process. So anyway, just recreate your groundings. Make them big and wide as all your auras. Make them both red or orange or yellow. Well, yeah. And then now make them both red, right? Just for this process. So make them both red, both your groundings, and bring up earth energy straight from the core of the earth at that red color. And so like your red grounding is now like a red straw, and you bring up the red earth energy and soak everything in red earth energy. Auras, your chakras, your bones, your muscles, your nervous system, your mind, everything. Right? And then bring that red earth energy down to the level of your grounding and make your grounding orange. And have your orange grounding be like a big orange straw, and bring up as much earth energy as you can through the orange straw. So your orange earth energy is soaking everything all the way up to the top of your aura. Soak everything in orange earth energy. You can think about receiving and letting go. Deep breath. Bring that earth energy down to the level of your third chakra, and make your grounding yellow. So it's like a yellow straw. Bring up as much earth energy at the color yellow as you can. Up, 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 up. Soak all your space in yellow earth energy. All your chakras, your bones, your muscles, your auras, your butt, your nose, eyelashes in yellow earth energy. Deep breath. Think about receiving and letting go. And then you can leave that earth energy up if you want. That's like a 1-color earth energy soak, and you can change it if you want to red or orange, or just leave it at the yellow earth energy soak. So that's fine to do, and you can do that all the time if you want, or you can bring it down to the level of your grounding, and then again have it at red or orange or yellow, whatever you prefer right now, whatever helps you to release them up. All right, good job, good job, good job. So that was a tricolor earth energy soak. All right. Great job. Woohoo. So, the only thing I want to do as we wrap up is 2 things quickly. Clear STEBs, which we've done a million times in different ways today, but we'll do it again one last time. So stubborn triggered energy blocks, that's what STEBs stands for. So it's just energy blocks that probably because of your resistance and other people's cords have not cleared yet. They're triggered, they're annoying, you want to clear them, right? So put copies of all your STEBs out in front of you and bring up red earth energy, soak them in red earth energy, melt the cords going into them from other people. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this junk, can you recycle them? And then you can just keep melting all these blocks or blow them up if you want. If there are any left over, just wrap them up in gold light. Say, angels, can you help me with these? One more time quickly. Put out your STEBs, red earth energy. Angels, can you recycle the beings? Angels, is this all healthy and gentle to clear right now? Wash everybody out. Melt it all away or blow it up. All right, now unprocessed stress pots, that's the USP thing, empty USPs. So you don't actually have pots in your space, but it's a metaphorical, easier way to catch up on processing and clearing stress. Basically, you're clearing energy blocks that you've been avoiding. Because if you have too many of that stuff lying around your space, you just can't handle new events, much bigger new events. You need to be able to have like some unprocessed stress space in your auras. And if it's already full of unprocessed stress, then it's like you're not ready for whatever might happen in your life. So just imagine them like pots. Imagine all your unprocessed stress pots, and you want to empty them all with, use gold light and melt away everything that's in your unprocessed stress pots. Melt cords from people. If you have any invasive beings hooked into these pots, just say, angels, can you recycle the invasive beings? And just empty all these pots. Make sure that you melt all the junk in them. But that way you're ready for, some big event. It's not going to be too much for you because you're just going to be ready. You're going to melt all the backlog. No more backlog. You're going to catch up with your life. All right. So if any of them aren't emptying, you might have missed a couple cords. So just be extra thorough melting the cords so that all the pots can empty. And if some of them still aren't emptying, say, angels, can you help me with these? And then you can just blow all that up. All right. So as we wrap up, just say, angels, can you please help me wrap up this healing? Deep breath. And you can say, angels, can you please help me with my abundance and my manifesting and my stepping forward and holding ground? All right. Good job. Woo! Yay. All right. So the healing is done. So we'll do the bathroom break. And then I'll come back. We'll do a little stretch break that is not a walkthrough, but it's just a minute that you could stretch if you want. I will be stretching. And then I'll do a 30-minute comment session if you have comments about the theme or how you're feeling after the healing. Or if you would like, you can post an issue that you have with your own self-assessment about what what you feel like, what you read on yourself, like what's going on with your chakras or your aura, your grounding or something, why you think this is a problem and what you think you should do about it as far as meditation or self-healing or something. And then I could give you feedback about your own issue and self-assessment. But if it's just exactly the way I would read it, or if I have any additions to what you said. Okay. So bathroom break, I will give you something nice to look at during your my bathroom break, the bathroom break. What? Look at. About those flowers that we had yes. Oh, the kittens. Yeah, you can't go wrong with kittens. Let's see. Oh, they're so cute. Okay, so I'll be right back. Hey, I'm back. So I'm gonna stretch for a minute. You can too if you want. Just do what's gentle for you as far as stretching. And I'll just take a minute, and then we'll do the little 30-minute discussion at the end. All right. Thank you for waiting. I hope you enjoyed your break. Mm. SA stands for self-assessment. Maybe I should just put that. All righty. Okay, so I'm looking for the comments that I didn't see yet. Ah. Someone shows the little healer hands, the grounding. Someone says hi with a cute little flower. Thank you. Someone says hi, Janet. Overcast day in Orange County, California. Well, I hope your inner sunshine is shining. Or you have a sunlight lamp like I do. One of my lights for the live stream is a sunlight lamp, so I'm getting light therapy right now. Although today is a sunny day, but you know, if you're indoors, you have to work all day indoors. You know, it's nice to get a sunlight lamp on you, even if it is sunny outside, because you know your brain then feels like it's been outside, which is good. Helps your brain. Someone says great advice. Well, thank you. Don't remember what it was referring to, but what you're referring to, but I'm glad that something was good advice that I said. So it says raining on and off in New Windsor, New York. 66 degrees. Well, not so bad, right? Someone's little angel emoji. That's cute. Someone says, hi, Janet. Wow. As soon as you started talking about those family control beings, I took a look at intuiting on that and I started getting those happy little fifth chakra cords from family, I think. Recently went no contact with biological sister. I lost my place. Recently went no contact with biological sister. Seems like it's better for me to move on and not stay stuck in a loop. Possible. Well, so it's not really a question. I guess it's just more of a comment that you felt like, yeah. I don't know what to do with that comment, but I'm glad that you're reflecting on what's healthy for you as far as contact with other people. That's generally a nice idea. Sunrise at the moment in Brisbane, Australia. 16 degrees Celsius, which if I take my little, not an exact conversion chart, it's just a little simple one. 16 degrees Celsius. So that for us on the old fashioned system, maybe that's like 63 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. That's not so bad. Especially for sunrise. That's cool. Well, that's nice. Hope you enjoyed your sunrise. I actually have a sunrise image we could enjoy. Yeah. That's kittens. Kittens are good too, but we could do the sunrise for a bit instead. There we go. So let's see, where should I be if The sunset is there. Let's see. Am I floating in the middle? I'm floating in the middle of the air. Hello. No, we'll put me here maybe. Okay, cool. Or should I be over here? No, I'll be over here. All right. Sunrises are nice. Usually I'm sleeping at that time, but sometimes I'm not. So I took this in our backyard, from our backyard. In Olympia, Washington, in the U.S., in the Pacific Northwest of the U.S. Someone says, my angels are busy. Yes, but angels are cool. They can do a lot. Someone says, my vision feels sharper after recycling family control beings. Yes, no surprise. That's cool. Someone says, it's funny, I always thought I needed a sledgehammer to knock out the blocks. This is so gentle. Yeah, it is interesting. Lately I've been enjoying that. Like, okay, how can I do the most with the littlest amount of gold light? Just because it's like kind of fascinating, you know? Because yeah, you know, if you have this giant waterfall of gold light, you could get a lot done, but you tend to learn more if you can just kind of like do like the slightest bit, and then, you know, like, because then you can really see what's holding it all together, you know. So if you get rid of the beings first, and then you get rid of the cores from people, wash people out, wash your own resistance out, then a lot of times even something big will just like fully destroy itself at that point, you know, melt away. So it's kind of interesting that way. Geeky fun. Poor AccuDoll, so much to carry. I know when you said that was in relation to the fake pregnancies. Yeah. That's right. Poor AccuDoll. But she can melt her fake pregnancies and then she'll feel so much better. So see, there's always good news with energy healing. Someone says, hi, Janet, to follow up with my symptoms. I tried to read today. I noticed that I blocked myself from seeing what was happening to me for a while. First, lofty beings, I asked my angels to recycle. Then I looked if I have some people whacking me consistently. It seems every time I have symptoms, there are different people each time. That's possible. But are they whacking me that much that till I feel physically unstable? Along with the physical things that are also happening, of course, but I think I also had so many hard objects going straight into my head when I feel ill. Yeah, so the question is, okay, so say you have physical issues, or, well, you have physical symptoms, right? You have body-related symptoms like dizziness, you know, pain, balance issues, stuff like that. Okay, so there could be actually purely physical causes for that could come and go. Like the physical cause is there, but you know, you feel it more maybe on some days because of stress or because of people whacking you. Yes. So can people whacking you cause dizziness? Sure, if they could make enough damage to your 5 essentials, you know. So what are your 5 essentials? Grounding, or that's stuff that we do at the start of the healings. Grounding, aura repair, chakra repair, creative ring repair, good karma windows, stuff in the back, right? So yeah, if someone whacked, you know, all your chakras and if they whack through your aura enough that their whack then could cause internal damage to creative rings, to chakras, to good karma windows, then yes, that could cause nausea, could cause dizziness, all of the above. But, you know, there can be physical symptoms, physical causes as well, like some kind of a blood issue that I don't know about that a blood test might show you, or just a crash, your blood sugars crash. Maybe you're hypoglycemic and you're not eating enough regular protein for that. So it seemed like you had a question of can people whack hard enough to cause physical symptoms? And the answer would be yes, because of how it works. Like the auras, your auras protect you, but they're not like perfect. You know, they're not damage proof. So once they get damaged enough, the rips get deep enough, then the next whack causes a lot of internal damage, you know, because there's no more aura right there to buffer it, right? And so it just depends. But yeah, that can be true. So the question is, how is it that you inspire that many people to whack you on a regular basis? You know, do you have invasive beings in your space that are encouraging you to, you know, maybe subconsciously on a spirit level, whack yourself first? Like, do you whack them first, but you don't know it? You know, and maybe you have invasive beings in your space, like stoking your repressed anger and your resentments so that, you know, on a subconscious level, are you throwing the first punch, basically, is the question. On a spirit level. So that's something you can look at. Also, a common thing too is, do you have walled off parts of you that are throwing the first punch? And throwing the first punch can also mean like you're just yelling at them telepathically in a way that triggers them so much that then they punch you. You know, punch meaning whack on an energy level. So check for walled off parts of you. At one healing, I called them shit starter parts of you. I do like that term, shit starter parts of you. So I do think you have a significant shit starter part to you, that, you know, I've read on and off for years with you, you know, so it's not a shock. But I think this would be a good time to, you know, revisit working that. Like, do you whack people first, you know, or what's going on? You know, is there anything on your end that is, you know, aside from you just being you, which obviously you have a right to be you, you know? And so there could be people that are just so freaked out by, you know, you just being sincere and honest and yourself that that's enough. But I think that the amount of people that whack you on a regular basis, it's more than that. You know, I think there's some shit starting on your end. Subconscious shit starting. So that, I think that could be a nice area to work for you. So I hope that makes sense. So you could, if you need walkthroughs for that, look up, you know, any of my, you could maybe look up shit starter, because I may have put that as a keyword to some healing. Look up energy healing, Janet Wright, shit starter. But you can also do, you know, search YouTube for energy healing, Janet Wright, walled off parts, you know, because that's a common thing where, you know, you don't realize it, but you're starting it in some situations. But yeah, the hard objects, did you have hard objects stuck in meridians and chakras of your head? Yeah, I think so. But again, you know, when the auras get damaged that much, then it's easy for the devices to go in, the hard objects to make it all the way in. And then they just stay there unless you remove them. So you could do like, you know, sticky gold wax and just all around all your head meridians and just lift it all out, you know. Angels, here you go. Lift it out. Angels, here you go. And then just ask the angels to recycle any invasive beings that are in the way of fully repairing, and then just, you know, use gold light and repair up all the gashes that were created by those hard objects. So I hope that helps. Alrighty. But yeah, decent self-assessment. About that it's conflict related with other people. Partially. Okay, lots of flower emojis, probably during the flower healing time. Someone says beautiful, thank you. Maybe because of the technique that we were using at the time. Someone says felt blasts of energy shooting through my 7th mid-healing. Didn't look like my family members. Was it my ex? So you're just asking me without a self-assessment, but you're not a newbie, so you could do a self-assessment. Well, I guess you're saying you think it was your ex, probably. Shooting through your 7th, so maybe shooting downward at you. I think he wasn't thrilled with you at the moment, but I don't think he was whacking you. I think he was in your space at the moment, though. But I think he was more like in your grounding in your first chakra, like courting your grounding in your first chakra. Generally, a lot of times straight down from above is just invasive beings up there. So I think maybe more of those family control beings, you could have them recycled. Keep working that. Someone says, hi, Janet. What do my abundance curses look like? Who are they from? My grandfather was a gambler. This makes me wonder if these beings are affecting my abundance too. Those beings are affecting my abundance too. I think I have fake pregnancies over farm animals suffering. I worry so much. Yeah, I think so. Suffering animals, one of your fake pregnancies. I would say that. Okay, so because that person commented several times about several things that I happened to see at once. So anyway, back to the initial comment. What do your abundance curses look like? And your theory is that some of them are for your grandfather, the beings or the devices. I mean, it's not really a self-assessment very much. You're saying you're just wanting me to read stuff. I think you should read it and I'll confirm. Yeah, so why don't you read some of your abundance devices or abundance curses, as hard objects, read them where they are in your space. And you can post it at some point. And so I guess you're wondering your grandfather's addiction energy, does that affect your abundance? Yeah, I would say you didn't really, it's not a self-assessment, so I feel weird about it. It feels very old school, like, Janet, read all my issues for me. So I would say just look at it yourself. And if you have a specific observation about it that you want me to validate, then I could do that. You could post it and I'll validate what I think about what you said. Someone says, have to walk my pooch, have to leave. Thank you. You're welcome. No problem. Someone says, if people subconsciously use manipulations, I didn't set my timer. Dang. Let's say I've been going for 10 minutes at least already. So we'll do 20 more minutes. Maybe 19 minutes more. Okay. If people subconsciously use manipulations, then would we be best to ask the angels to clear out any manipulations we may have created too? My fear-based ass probably needs to do that. Yeah. I think what your question is do other people have manipulations in their space from you that you put there? And yeah, it's very possible because, like I said, even if you did it in a past life, where you were, maybe you were in a culture where that was pretty common to do. So yeah, it's possible that you've made abundance blocking devices and put them in other people's spaces at some point, or just some other manipulation, like maybe you didn't want a boyfriend to cheat on you in this life, and so you put some manipulations in his space, that were supposed to control him. So yeah, I mean, you can call back any manipulations that you may have put in other people's spaces that still exist in their space. Just, make a gold 3D object and call back all the manipulations and just say, angels, what should I do with all this? Have them clean it out, and then you can just destroy it. But yeah, you can, that could be nice to do. It might help your karma, anybody's karma, to do something like that. Call back any manipulations that you might have put in someone else's space. And just have the angels clean it out, though, in case there are some invasive beings that are linked to those manipulations. So then the angels can clean all this out and then destroy it. Someone says, thank you, Janet. I was feeling kind of sad before the healing, and I did have some 4th chakra damage and blocks. See, nice self-assessment there. But the fake pregnancy work really took away the sadness. How funny is that? I'm also moving forward on my job change, rockstar, move path from that work too. My read is that I need to do this 3 times a week for the next few weeks. How did I do? Do what? Just the pregnancy work? From that work too. I mean, yeah, working abundance 3 times a week for a couple weeks would be huge for anybody. That'd be a great idea. I'm not sure if you just mean the fake pregnancy work. Maybe just, I mean, even the family control being work that we did, that's good. And the resistance to consistent healthy action, that's good work. Yeah, it's all good work. Yeah, you could just repeat. I would, if I had to repeat it 3 times a week for several weeks, I would, just take notes and then do a freestyle version rather than listening to the healing over and over and over. But, some people really strongly prefer the walkthrough version. I just think it takes longer that way. You just take notes and do your quick version. Skip all the explaining. But you could just skip to the do parts, I guess. That's quick. Because they'll be separate chapters. So I'm not. So yeah, I wouldn't say just the fake pregnancy work is what helped you today, but the family control beings, I think, would be huge. You keep working. All right. Someone says, I had many anger babies. Anger babies. There's an expression of food baby. It's like kind of like that. These fake pregnancies, it's like a food baby. It's just like something right there. Yes, I'm not surprised that you had many anger babies, and I'm glad you're clearing them. Good job. Someone says, thank you so much. I feel pretty crowded while the healing was going on. I felt pretty crowded. It felt like my husband and my mom were in front of my aura, like they were fighting for the same spot they were hanging around. I think that's true. I think it's independence baggage that they are courting too. I will be washing them away. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't worry about what they're both courting. Just make sure not only you wash them away, but you wash away what they're courting that invited them in so easily. It's like, I was telling someone 2 days ago, it's like it's like your baggage becomes like a park bench or like a comfy mattress for somebody to just hop on in and enjoy, So make sure you get the underlying baggage that gives them such an easy hangout area. That room exercise, the invasive people room exercise, that's one way to do it, because with the invasive people room exercise, which is its own, I think it's only like a 3-minute video now in the short video playlist. I should link that video. That's a good video. I'll link it. But anyway, in that invasive people room exercise, you imagine a room that represents your space, and you only imagine the people in your space, and then you melt the floor of the room, which represents your energy blocks that are allowing these people to be in there. And then once you melt the floor of the room, then the whole room dissolves and the people pop out of your space. Let's see. So if you search YouTube for Janet Wright invasive people room, there we go. Clear people out of your space in 3 minutes, baby. Yeah, baby. So here we go. I will link it in the chat. Okay. Oh, stretching emojis for stretching. And the kitten emojis, the kitten photo. Glad you like it. Someone says, thank you, Janet. When it comes to abundance, it usually feels unattainable and like it's for others, but not for me. Well, that's a very interesting, that it just means you're stuck. You know, I think it could be past life or parental control baggage or both. Am I correct? So the issue is you feel like abundance is unattainable and it's for other people only, not you. And your self-assessment is you're stuck on past life baggage or parental control stuff from this life. An easy way that I like to check about if something's past life or not, I mean, you could just intuit it, yes, no. But I like to look at like the person, in this case, your directly last past life. And you don't have to know the whole life, but just imagine, okay, this is me in my most recent last past life, my most recent past life. Did I have abundance issues then? Did I feel like abundance was unattainable then? And to me, it looks like, no, you didn't. It looks like you didn't have you had sort of average abundance in that life, compared to the people around you. But you definitely didn't think it was for other people. It just wasn't an area that you focused on very much. So from that, I would say that maybe there is some past life issues, but that the whole thing about, okay, it's not even for me, is from this life. So then the question is, well, were you born, like if you were in the womb, were you stuck on that? Did you think, did your little spirit in your mom's womb, at like 8 months, you're about to come out soon, did you think that abundance was only for other people at that point? It looks like no. So at what age did you start, subconsciously thinking abundance was not for you? Did you think it was not for you at 2? Yeah. Did you think it was not for you at 1 years old? No. So something between 1-year-old and 2-year-old of this life. So this life, but then you don't really have to know beyond that, although it's kind of interesting, so you can look at if it was from a certain parent or a certain relative or just culturally something happened or, but you could just, clear the baggage, clear the blocked energy that makes you have that idea that it's not for you. And you don't really have to worry about when it's from, you just pile it all out in front of you. It could be some from this life, some from past lives, some from, whatever. Doesn't matter. Just, you can still clear it. Someone says hello again. Hello to you. Someone says, thanks, Janet. was I the person with the mother-in-law device from my previous marriage? That's funny. Well, you weren't the person that I was looking at that time when you were not my sample person for that. Someone, I don't think she often watches the live streams. The person that was she's a conscious client, but I don't think she watches the live streams. The person that I was looking at the time that had the earrings and the bracelets, that was a past life manipulation, or a manipulation from their ex-mother-in-law. But it's not to say that you don't have that. It's just that, the person I was looking at the time was not you. But yeah, it's definitely good to check for that stuff. I know my ex-mother-in-law was a real doozy. A real piece of work. There's probably still some stuff I haven't found from her, although I've been digging out from her for several decades. Oh, she was pretty hardcore. It's funny because in Spanish, my first husband is from Mexico, and so Spanish is their first language, and I at the time spoke pretty decent Spanish. I've forgotten a lot of it since then, but the word for mother-in-law is suegra, and suegra sounds like, it kind of sounds like a bad thing, it doesn't sound like flower or something, suegra, la suegra. So it just seems so fitting for her. La suegra, the mother-in-law. Dun, 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 la suegra. Anyway, so fun times. Then you're mentioning your husband seems stressed with work. Well, yeah, that's not new. I think his stress pots. That's what you meant to say. It's so funny. Your surveys, you usually write, the words as you mean to write them, but some people's surveys, like, they never proofread, and they're just like, la, 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 like these garbled. There's no punctuation. Like, 25% of the words are like completely not what they meant to type. And I'm like, they're like trying to figure out what they were writing in the survey. So I appreciate any survey, even if it's like that. But if you do have like an extra 20 seconds to just read what you wrote to make sure that it actually typed the way you intended it to type, that would be nice. Most people don't have that issue, but some people, it's like, oh my God, what did you just type? Anyway, okay. But your husband is stressed with work. You think his stress pots are still partially full? Just like 2 of them. Yeah, his mom's according to him. Yeah, I showed it to him. Taking care of it. Oh, then you corrected afterwards. Pots. Thank you. Someone says, thank you. I feel good after the healing. That's nice. Just sensitive stomach, not energy related. Thank you for your healing work. I enjoyed working on the fake pregnancies. Sure, I had some. We'll go back to the video tomorrow for technique review. Yeah. So since we're talking about tummies and energy related, I do like working tummy chakra, tummy meridians. Use all the hair on Mr. Hairy acupuncture model. So I would say, even if it's not, healing, it's not from the healing that your tummy feels weird, it wouldn't hurt to, look at your tummy meridians and then to the Wei Qi auras of those tummy meridians. So like your CV meridian, check that out. And then the CV meridian aura, like right in front there, and then the kidney meridian, the orange line, and then the kidney meridian aura, Wei Qi aura right in front there, and the stomach meridian, the green line, and the stomach meridian, Wei Qi aura right in front there. I think all 3 of those, you could benefit a lot from working those. The spleen meridian, that's the purple line right there. The spleen meridian Wei Chi aura doesn't seem to be making as much trouble, but that could be interesting too to unblock that a little bit. So I hope that helps. But you're welcome for the healing. All right. Somebody says, see you next time. Love to you and your hubby. How about that? Well, I'll tell him. Someone says, okay, thank you for the advice on how to clear that. I will do that. I feel like that is why I may also have so much fear and subconscious worries about those things. Thank you, Janet. Well, I don't remember what you were talking about. My memory is really bad. So like I can have read your comment like 2 minutes earlier and I don't remember what you're referring to. But since it was probably like 10 people earlier, I definitely don't remember what you were referring to. But I'm glad whatever I said helped you. You're definitely welcome. Oh, so it says, sorry, I meant that my read is that I need to repeat the stuff from this healing. Oh, all the stuff from this healing 3 times a week for the next few weeks. Yeah, that would be good. I usually skip to the doing parts when I heal. Yeah. Okay, cool. The doing chapters on the, yes, because it will be little chapter titles within 24 hours. Probably within 8 hours. Hopefully. There'll be little chapter titles all along the bottom here that you can click on and then see them all and you can jump around. Ex-mother-in-law, lucky you, Janet. I am kind of lucky because my ex-mother-in-law, she was the hardcore one, and my current mother-in-law is in heaven. So in heaven, they don't mess with you at all, which is like glorious. So that's delightful. Someone says, hiya, I feel unable to self-assess when it comes to the topic of abundance. Well, see, at least you're being straightforward about it. I'm just so blocked and blind. I have been trying to self-heal this issue for decades. So blocked and blind when trying to self-assess about abundance. Well, isn't that interesting? So how can you clear if you don't know? So the question is, how can you clear if you don't know where you're blocked and stuck, right? But the thing is, you don't need to know. You know that you're stuck, right? And you can cover both bases, right? Because there's either there's clearing and then there's nourishing, right? And then there's getting rid of beings, right? But clearing and nourishing, right? So you can nourish for abundance with flower healing. You can clear without knowing what you're clearing. It's just abundance baggage. Your abundance is stuck. You can just pile out in front of you all the shit that's blocking your abundance and just blow it up. Abundance blocking shit. Just have your angels double check each pile before you blow it up. Angels, can you double check? And you get the green light for your angels and they go, get another abundance blocking pile of baggage. Angels double check, and then angels recycle the beings and then, and you can even set it up with your angels so they give you a fast green light. You don't have to say it each time, So abundance blocking baggage, angels. Abundance blocking baggage, angels. Abundance flowers, angels. Abundance flowers, angels. Abundance flowers, angels. So then you did your clearing and your nourishing. Right? But yeah, you don't have to know why you're stuck. The of the 4 techniques we did today, that one where we did clear resistance to yin, clear resistance to balance, harmony, moderation, consistent action. You know, that could be a nice one for you, because you know, sometimes you do something and then you'll kind of give up on it, and you'll do something else and give up on it. And sometimes, you know, it's just that you needed to do something only for a short time and then you're done with it, you know? So that's not really the same as, you know, like giving up on something. But other times it's like just your energy for something collapses artificially, but there would have been more that you could learn and experience with it. So that idea of like, you know, that consistency, the ability to keep going with something, to be, you know, moderate and balanced and keep going and just sort of enjoy that, the continuation of something. You know, you have a lot of resistance, you know, like, you know how like if a healing is really good for you, usually you can't stand it. Like if it's very appropriate for you, then you can't stand it, you know? So clearing resistance would always be a good thing. But yeah, I don't think there's one like silver bullet, like, oh, work this one thing and your abundance will blow up, you know? I think it's I think, you know, sometimes you don't see what you have, and so then you think you have no abundance. And then there are, you know, there are ways in which your abundance really is screwed, but then there are other ways which you do create and you just don't like validate what you're doing. And so it's kind of like you self trash, you self discourage. You know, so again, that idea of like the consistency, the consistently being moderate and harmonious and balanced and clearing resistance to that. You know, because you kind of gravitate towards that all or nothing. Like, give me the drama where it's all fixed all at once and I put my all into it and everything's perfect after that, you know, and when that doesn't happen, it really blows your mind. You know, whereas in life, typically, you know, you need both. You need the step forward, but then you need to hold the ground. You need that consistent, nourishing, you know, repetition of healthy behaviors. So, hope that helps. But yeah, that exercise. So any clearing resistance, but also clearing resistance to the yin, the holding ground, the consistent action. You could keep working that. It'll be a its own chapter from the healing. Someone does a little smile emojis. Someone says, it bothers me how even strangers can easily make me lose my center by courting baggage I'm not ready to release. Other than angel storage, while I work on that, what else may help? Clear resistance. I mean, I'll read it as the last thing I'm reading, but it's not exactly a self-assessment. So, but anyway, I think because it's maybe more of a universal thing, then the angels want me to read it. So it's like, the way your angels show it to me is like you're standing on a banana peel, and the banana peel, you know, like in the cartoons, how a banana peel can make you slip, you know, and the banana peel is like your expectations of like that you're always going to feel good and that things should be easy and that, you know, and it's kind of like that you get scared of not feeling good and then it spirals, you know, like, so if somebody's energy starts to, if you start to feel affected by your interactions with somebody, it so much resistance triggers, and it's so disturbing to you on such a deep level that then it becomes like 10 times bigger than it would have been. So there's this fear of having your energy be affected by other people, that amplifies everything and makes everything much worse. So it's like, you could just clear abuse baggage that triggers. when you think of that other people's energy affects you, and that, other people can cord, and you might get triggered, and you might get your grounding blocked or something, that idea of being affected by other people and your interactions with them, it's like not okay with you. And I think that's because there's just a bunch of old abuse baggage that's triggered around it. That just makes everything seem 10 times worse. So then it becomes 10 times worse. Hope that makes sense. So clear abuse baggage. When in doubt, clear abuse baggage. It's just, baggage from shitty experiences, so just put it out in front of you. Angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? Angels, can you recycle any beings hooked into it? And then blow it up, or melt people out of it and then blow it up. But you can do that over and over and over. Just clear any abuse baggage related to, the discomfort of that thought that, interacting with others can be triggering, or can be unsettling, or can be, it affects your energy. Hope that makes sense. Someone says, thank you, Janet. You're welcome. Oh, right. So it's a good place to wrap up. I'm not going to do a plant update today because I did a big one a few days ago. If you missed it, you can check out that video at the end. I showed some seedlings, tomatoes and basil, and and a perennial flower called Korean agastache. Little baby seedlings. So now I will just end with showing my website, I guess, and letting people know that the next healing is from this set on Tuesday, in just 2 days. So that's another live stream coming up on abundance. But then after that, there's a twin set, which is actually for sale. So you could purchase it on my website if you want. The May twin set, which is Thursday the 22nd and Sunday the 25th. And then the June sets are up on my website. And then July sets will be on sale on May 15th. And if you don't get my news emails, that go out on the 15th, you could just email me and ask to get my news emails. My email address is janet@jwhealing.com. All right. You guys are amazing. What image should we wrap up with? I guess kittens. Kittens are always nice. Right? Oh my gosh, there's nothing. Ah! Oh no, roadies. That would be good. Rhododendron. Oh, and I meant to mention, I didn't mention it, but later I was watching the video and I was like, I should say, these flowers, they're actually not small flowers. So like one of these like clusters of flowers could be the size of like your whole face. So like this plant is probably like, it was probably like 7 or 8 feet tall. I think I had crouched down when I took this photo. So this plant maybe it was only like 7 feet tall, but I have seen ones. I used to live near one out here when we rented the house, when we rented a house when we first got to Washington State. And on that block, there was this huge one. It had to be 2 stories tall. That was like just this color with all these flowers. So cause you can't tell, like those leaves, there's no perspective, but those leaves actually aren't small leaves. They're probably like, this big each one. So there's some rhododendron with mini flowers, but a lot of them are like, they're pretty giant plants and they have giant flowers. They're pretty cool. Alrighty. So it says, thank you, Janet, for sharing your healing with us. You're welcome. Alrighty. So I hope you have a good day, morning, evening, whatever's next for you. And you are a rock star. Bye.